Good to be, going really. And this was the first full day where a lot of TCU stuff, so it's fun just to get back in that rhythm again. But we got a lot of good work with the young guys up until now, and the young guys will still get certain parts of practice. So it was a good combination of both, and I like the spirit of the guys and where we're at, and knowing that we're by tomorrow we're a week away.
What kind of keys when you guys started looking at TCU did you show the guys?
Just they've consistently done fairly similar things for a lot of years on defense, with Coach Patterson and just what they've done. But those type of teams that do it that way and that style in terms of consistent are usually pretty darn good at what they do. And so that's what we're showing them is here's their variations, here's what they can do, off of it. But at the end of the day, you got to find ways to win your one-on-ones against guys that are well coached, understand what their responsibility, know what they're doing. They've been in that system for a while, and good players. So there's a reason why their numbers are what they are. Even in an offensive-driven conference, you still see the numbers, and you've seen it for a lot of years with those guys. So a lot of respect for how they play the game, and we have our work cut out for us in terms of moving the ball against that defense.
They've got a couple more obvious guys on defense who have been stars for them, but are there any other standouts that you've kind of seen when looking at the tape?
No, 91 probably jumps out as much as anybody jumps out, but then in all reality, then you don't see a lot of drop off. You don't see, like, if I were to list let's say there are 11 starters, it's hard for me to list 1 through 11. It really is, where it's hard to say who's the third best player on defense compared to the 10th or the 11th. There's just not a lot of drop off, and that's almost every time you see great defenses, it's not usually 1 or 2 superstars. It really isn't. It's usually, usually you have a guy or two that's making plays, but usually you see all the way through the group, just dynamic players at every level and guys who understand what they're doing and the structure of their defense. So it's tough for me to earmark guys after that. I think the secondary is incredibly athletic all around. And the backers understand their role and what they do, and like I brought up 91. I think he's a heck of a player, but I think everybody up front, gives you some issues. So I say that as a compliment, when it's not, hey, if we handle this guy, we should have some success. It isn't like that with TCU.
What do you think about number 15 on the other side of the defensive line?
Oh, very good. It's just that they've, like I said, they've got, but no one, I'm not in there picking out. I think, sometimes fans, and I don't mean that, negatively, but sometimes you get caught up in a certain guy or certain that because of certain numbers they put up and what they've shown. But for us, I look at them as a whole. So I think they've got a number of players that truly do stand out and do some things at a high level, regardless of who's gotten maybe most of the attention or accolades. So very good player, but I think their defense as a whole is impressive.
What kind of things do you guys do over the next week to kind of get guys back to game speed?
Just again, it's a combination of what they've done with Coach Becton. He's incredibly strategic with how he does things, in the strength, conditioning program. So that's allowed them to get to that. Understood how to practice these first. We're now on practice, I think, what was this, 7? I think, since we've truly come back after the Stanford game. So we understood how to progress up until this 7th practice, given that we've had recruiting too. So it's just a combination of understanding what we're doing in the strength room program with how Coach Wilcox is structuring the practices, and they'll gradually, you'll gradually hit. And we hit Summit today. This was very close to a Tuesday-ish practice, very close. So we're already starting to hit that game week stride, so to speak.
You kind of talked about how you guys are structuring practices. How does it differ when you're, installing stuff, and then is it kind of fine-tuning next week, or what is that kind of like?
Yeah, that's a good question. Really, we want to feel like by the time we get on the plane this weekend that we're ready to play on that day we get on the plane, regardless. Now, so again, once we get down there, then you're getting into a little more walkthrough mode. Day before, though, we still get a sweat and we run around, but 2 days before, get a little bit of that, some of the walkthrough stuff. So yes, it's a combination of, I'd say, fine-tuning, but also knowing that these 4 practices are very much Tuesday-ish, Wednesday-ish. So you're almost getting, double what you'd usually get. And then you hit your Thursday and Friday when we're down there, which by then you're not putting in new things anyway. So then you're able to get into your walkthrough mode and then your normal Friday routine, which will be Christmas. That'll be our Friday practice.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're all right.
How'd you feel about the energy level today from some of the older guys coming off maybe times when they were keeping it low?
Very good, very good. They've been good. They were good, on Sunday. We started to get them more reps on Saturday, Sunday, so they're excited. They're ready to go, and you can feel it, And when the key is to make sure that you continue to not peak too early, though. You great energy, but just keeping that mindset of not starting to get stale as you get closer, because you have X amount of practices before you finally play again. And they have a good feel for that and how to do that, and the practices are structured that way to where they have the right energy level. And I think with this group and their maturity, they'll keep that energy level going all the way through, Saturday before we get on the plane Sunday.
Early signing period starts tomorrow. What kind of is the mood among the staff, kind of looking at getting some of those guys signed and committed?
Excited. It's it's your third time down this road, and really only your second time. I mean, that first one was 3 weeks in, when we got hired here, so it's really your second time. So it's the first class where you've really had a year and a half to 2 years, really, in terms of evaluating and going through the process. So it's fun. I'm excited about the group and the future Bears, and it'll be a fun day for us.
You mentioned a couple times that Chase was still working with the developmental guys during his last couple weeks. What have you seen out of him kind of during bowl prep?
Yeah, I think he's starting to, just almost the term let her rip a little bit more, just kind of getting this, just trusting, that the windows might be tighter, but I can still, make that throw and take that shot. And I saw it. I've seen it a number of times. And then, it's less processing, and more just, with every rep with a first-year QB, or any QB for that matter, but especially with a first-year QB, every rep becomes, just that much closer to not thinking and playing. And that's what you're seeing. These extra practices are huge for everybody, but a guy like that, it's it's super beneficial.
What kind of flexibility does Malik lend to the offense?
Oh, he lends a ton, because and you saw it even against Stanford. Did a few things, carried the ball on 3rd and 1, caught the ball on another. He's caught numerous 4th downs, caught a couple touchdowns. So he lends that because of his combination of strength, size, and athleticism. And the athleticism goes with his hand-eye coordination, his ability to redirect, footwork-wise. So you can run a number of different types of runs with him, and he can handle it. You can run, some play-action stuff, and he can handle making the tough catch. He can handle little run after catch. So he's versatile enough to do the things a tight end would do and a fullback would do, and that's always that's nice as a play caller, and giving us those moments, key moments, red zone or 3rd and short, 4th and short, that are so vital.
And with the size and his skills, it seems a little bit like he's kind of the unicorn. You don't see many guys like him.
Nope, you don't. I've said that since the day I got here. And he's, in fairness to him, he was probably about 310 when I got here, and he's down playing most of his snaps at 290. So he's taken it even to another level. But I thought that the minute I got here, and I've only seen him develop and progress. So he's unique around the country, and so I think because of that, I think he's going to have a great opportunity to continue playing football. He's just got a skill set that's different.
When I ask most of the guys about Mo, they talk about him being a leader and a vocal guy, a guy whose voice they listen to. I wonder if you've noticed that, and how hard that is in 1 year to kind of take on that kind of role.
It's impressive. It really is. And I honestly, it wasn't – they'd probably see it more than I do, because they do some closed door meetings, and that's, I think, where I've heard it, comes out and some of that. But I start to see it, before games, like on a Twitter feed, and you see him kind of in the middle and those guys. So that's hard to do. I'm serious. No matter how good a leader you are, to come in 1 year and to take that on and then have guys gravitate you in that way says a lot about him, his character, who he is, how he carries himself, and the message he delivers is real. So it's fun to see, because we're extremely lucky, to have him, and I'm extremely lucky to have coached him now for, been a part of coaching him for 3 or 4 months, and I appreciate that. So yeah, what he's brought, I love that part, because it's more than just how many catches or the things he's doing there. It's bigger than that, and obviously the guys have taken to it. So it says a lot about him. That'll bode well for him the rest of his life, whatever he's doing. All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
See ya.
Coach.